Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be part number 6 of Qbert. I wanted to show you I got the cabinet in the basement today. So this is ready to go to start getting reassembled. We are going to head into the shop and work on the control panel. I need to get all that glue and stuff off of it and then hopefully start welding in those holes on it. So this is going to be part 6. Okay, I'm back in the shop here. I got the control panel. I have this joystick. This is not the correct joystick. This is a leaf switch one. I guess the original ones were micro switches and I dropped it and broke it. But the good thing is this base right here is identical to the hole size in here. And when I put it on this one stud that's left from the original joystick, it lines up perfectly with this hole. So what we need to do is once we get all these holes welded in, we need to weld 3 more studs on in the appropriate spots, which that center spacer here should line it up perfectly. I found, I guess Arcade Shop started making a new joystick that's the correct one. See how this has a tapered shaft? The original one has a straight shaft, and then it comes down longer, and then it has 4 micro switches in the bottom. They say it's supposed to be just like the original one. They're expensive. They're $129 for a joystick, but everybody says, you know, you really want to have the right joystick to play Qbert. So hopefully it will work like the original ones do. I don't have the original one, so I have nothing to compare it to. So I thought, you know, that game being that old, that it would probably be a leaf switch one, but supposedly it was micro switches, which I didn't know they were really using a lot of those in the early 80s, but I just don't know. So what I have here is I have my little angle grinder with my hamburger disc. This is just a stripping disc. You can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can put them on your drill. You don't have to have an air tool to use it. And I'm gonna sit here, basically take my time and get all this junk off of here. It's probably gonna take a while. It's a lot of sticky mess. So let's give it a shot and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna sit here for probably the next 45 minutes and grind all this stuff off of here. And then I'll come back and show you it all cleaned up. I also need to grind around all these holes on the backside so that we can weld in all these plugs. Then we're gonna have to drill a bunch of plugs to fit into these holes so that we can get them welded back in. So I'll do this for a while and I'll come back and kind of give you an idea how long it took and stuff. Okay, it's all cleaned up. It took me a little bit over 20 minutes, maybe 22, 25 minutes at the most. Now I needed to take this drill bit here, and this is a hair bigger than these holes. I need to take this piece of steel. As you can see, we did this before. I believe it was the Journey control panel. I had cut plugs out to weld these holes in. So now I need to cut more for this. And this is 16 gauge steel. It's the same thickness as this control panel, so it makes it a lot nicer to weld in. It's dented in right here from where they over tightened the carriage bolt. Both sides are dented a little bit. This side's definitely worse. These 2 holes need to stay. Player 1 and player 2 start. This big hole needs to stay. This is our joystick. So we need to basically fill in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes. So I need to cut 9 plugs. Now when I use this bit to drill these, it obviously has a center hole, which this one's broke. I'm gonna have to get another bit. But it has a center hole that we'll have to weld in afterwards, which is about that size there. So let me go see if I have another one of these bits. Hopefully I do, because I didn't realize this was snapped off. I could still use this. I might just have to just drill a pilot hole. You know what, let me just get a regular drill bit, because that one looks like it's pretty sharp still. And I probably just quit using that one because I broke it off and I just grabbed another one at the time, rather than, you know, just using a different bit to start a hole. So let me see here. I think it's about a 3/16 bit. Yeah, let me try this. Battery's dead. Let me get a new battery here. Might have to get the drill out of my van, depending on what we got here. I don't know if this one's charged or not. Yeah, all of my batteries are dead. I'm gonna go grab my other drill. And the lights are flickering because we're having some bad weather today, and I guess we're supposed to get some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't lose power. So I'm gonna go grab my other drill outside and we'll come back and drill some of these. All right, I picked up 2 sheets of black melamine this morning so that we can make that Pac-Man cabinet. I might do it tomorrow, we'll see, depending on how the weather is. Probably gonna have to go grab a pick so I can get these out of there. Maybe I can use a little drill bit. See how nice that fits? It's like a perfect fit. So I need to drill 8 more of these, and then we can start slowly welding these in and keep our fingers crossed that we don't warp it. What I think I might do is put it upside down like this on top of this 2x4 and weld it like this. Kind of hold it down and put a couple tack welds, blow it with my air gun to try to cool the metal, and just keep doing that until we get it all welded up. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill out 8 more plugs and then I'll come back. Okay, I got them all drilled out here. I might not be able to weld right now, we'll see, because we're starting to get a wicked storm coming through here. Yeah, the winds are really starting to pick up now. Jeez. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't lose power. I'll get the welder out and we'll get it set up and we'll see what happens. Okay, I got the welder all out here. I got a blowgun. Let's see if we can get some welding done. I don't know if the power is going to go out or not. Okay, we'll start with this hole here. So I'm just going to kind of push this control panel down with the on the 2x4, and we're going to hit it with a couple spot welds, and then we're going to immediately try to cool it with the blowgun to try to keep it from warping. looks like we're gonna lose power. So I'm gonna shut the welder off because I don't want to damage the welder. And we're just gonna have to come back to this in a little bit. It's gonna keep flickering probably, and that's the worst thing you could do to this welder. Okay, so you can see how I'm doing it. I'm just putting some tacks around the edges here, and move these out of the way here. I want to get close to welding them completely shut. So far it's nice and flat and nothing is warped at all. So I'm just going to continue to do that on the rest of these, and then I'll flip it over and put some spot welds on the top side as well. I'm not going to keep videoing because it's kind of pointless to watching me do the same thing over and over again for 9 total holes. So I'm going to wait a little bit and then try to weld a little bit more and see what happens. Okay, we got them all tacked in on the bottom side, and I welded in all the holes that were drilled for the 2 joysticks that they had put on here. So now we could flip this over, and I want to spot weld this a little bit more. What I'm going to do now is I can see where all my spot welds are on the bottom side. So I'm going to go between those on the top side. I'll do that twice. And that'll pretty much weld almost the whole entire hole shut. I'm not going to get too crazy and completely run a bead around the whole entire hole. This is a really flat control panel and I don't want to warp it. So far it's feeling really good, other than where they had dented it down on the ends, which that's not a big deal. We'll take this over to the bench vise over there and hammer that flat. So let's go ahead and tack the top now, and then we can grind it down, hammer these out, and then we need to weld the other 3 studs in for the joystick. We got a dent right here where somebody started to drill, and a little bit one right here where somebody started to drill. They didn't drill all the way through. I'm going to leave that. We'll just Bondo right over that. now I gotta try to straighten this back out. I could probably use my my bender. You can see it just twisted just like that, and I was even being careful. But anyways, let me grind it down and then we'll see about straightening it back out. Okay, I'm gonna get this ground down. You can see what it's doing. And it'll stay that way or that way. They call it like tin canning. So let's get it ground down and we'll see if we can't get rid of that somehow. I'm gonna keep grinding until I get them all done and then I'll come back. Okay, I got the front and back all ground down. Now, I don't know if maybe adding heat is the way to fix this or not, but I'm thinking about trying it. I don't know if it's gonna make it better or worse. There, it looks like it's going down on this side. Looks like that side's starting to draw down a little bit. Well, my camera went out because I lost internet for a minute. I don't know if you guys caught any of that. I haven't had a chance to go back and look. I took my torch and I concentrated my heat over here because this was in the air really high. It's still a little bit high, so let's try to heat this side up a little bit more. But if you watch, see how this is rocking just a little bit now? It was really bad before. So I don't know if you'll be able to see on the camera, but maybe you'll be able to see that camera, this side start to dive down as I heat it right in this area again. We're just trying to do a little bit at a time here. Oh, see, that's raising it in the air now. So we need to go over here. There it goes. Draw it back down. I'm liking where that's at, actually. I think that's looking pretty good. We'll let this cool for about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll check it and see what it looks like. Okay, it kind of warped again as it cooled. So I've got some clamps this time. I'm gonna heat it up one more time and we're gonna lightly clamp it to these 2x4s. I don't want to bend the control panel, like put divots in it from the clamps. Just want to put a little bit of pressure on it, on this corner and on this corner here. And we'll let it cool like that, and we'll see if it keeps its shape at that point now. Well, let's unclamp it and see what it does. That went right back. So now what I'm going to have to try to do is to over clamp it maybe. So maybe I could stick the hammer underneath the middle and try to really get this to warp down and then clamp it with the hammer on there. I wonder if I just leave it like that, if it'll stay, or it's going to go back up. I think it's going back up. It's hard to get these warps out of these things. It's not too bad where it's at right now, if it'll just stay there. Got a little bit of a hump right here from where I was heating it. But I can probably tap that down lightly. Right now it's really good, but I don't know if it's going to stay like that, or if it's going to keep going back up into the other position. Looks like it's moving up a little bit again. I'm going to let it sit like that. If this doesn't work, we're going to try clamping it again. Okay, I think it needs a little bit more. But it's definitely better, a lot better. We're almost there, I think. Well, let's see if that does anything. I kind of over-corrected it. This side's definitely lower than the other right now, but we'll give it another 10 minutes and see what happens. Okay, I got it pretty flat. I had to flip it over upside down on the concrete and mess with it a little bit. Now I got to weld a couple more studs on there, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. It still will flex a little bit, but once these two bolts are in, it's not going to go anywhere. It's nice and flat. So we're going to be all right with that. But now I need to make these other holes in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this joystick in place, make sure it's pushed down all the way, and then I'm going to take my marker and mark these other 3 holes. And then we got to get a couple studs so that we can weld those studs on. Okay, I took a couple carriage bolts that were used on this control panel that they had bolted through. I took 3 of them. I cut the heads of the carriage bolt off, so it's just got like this square left on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark these 3, and we're going to drill right through the control panel. And then we're going to slide these studs in from the top side and weld them. And then we'll grind it off. By doing that, it should be a nice sturdy weld that should hold up well, because those 4 studs are the only thing that are holding that joystick onto that control panel. So you got to make sure you get a good weld on those. Got to try to figure out what size bit we need here. Probably 3/16. Looks to be about right. And we might warp this again a little bit. Might have to mess with it a little bit more still. Now we can slide these in from the other side, and they should sit there because of, you see how nice and flat this is now? I just hope it stays like that. They're sticking out a little bit, but I'm going to kind of try to burn them in. And hope that I don't warp it once again. Which it probably will. And we'll have to mess with it some more. Before I go any farther, I want to see if this slides on. Yes, it does perfectly. Seems like it. And you can see that that's gotta have to get welded a little bit better. That one I ground down too much. So we are going to, these ones are still pretty good. I'm gonna put a little tack on the bottom of each one, but I gotta be careful that I don't go too far. Then we're gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna put a couple more tacks on the top now because I was able to grind that flush. So now when I put a weld on there, it should penetrate down farther. Sometimes this stuff just takes time. There's not much you can do about it. But we'll get it. Okay. Hot. All right, they still look good there. A little tight, but it went on. Okay, now I'm going to go over these areas one more time. Just want to make sure where the stud's at. Grab a new grinding wheel. This one's pretty much shot. We'll grab a new one of these real quick. As long as this works and this is good, then we will do the body work. Still flat. A little bit of a hump right there. I don't know if I could tap that down without making a huge disaster. Take a piece of wood maybe underneath it. Right here. That stud's in the way. Yeah, maybe not. Warped it a little bit by doing that. Okay, let's get some body filler mixed up. Boy, that was a pain in the butt. Happens sometimes. The flatter the control panel, the worse off you are. The ones that have like a curve on the back and then come down the front, those don't warp as bad. This one had 9 holes plus 10 little holes. So there was a ton of holes that were welded in. This body filler right here can go over bare metal. So that was a lot of holes and a lot of heat. into welding all that, but I'm pretty happy with what it looks like now. Even if it springs a tiny bit, once you bolt that down, it's not going to go anywhere. I got to mix up enough because I want to put coat on the back and on the front. Once we get this all smoothed out, we can get it painted black and then let it dry, and then it's ready to get put together. Now, fingers crossed, I hope that joystick is the same dimensions as the other one that I got, which I'm assuming that it is because that one bolt was left in the control panel and that one lined right up into the holes. So I'm pretty confident that it's the same. I guess if not, I'll be redoing it. But we're gonna hope for the best. I probably wait a couple days to put the overlay on. I just ordered the joystick yesterday from Arcade Shop, which means I won't even have it probably until Wednesday. So I'll just wait to put the control panel overlay on until I get it, because if for some reason those studs are in the wrong spot, I don't want to ruin a control panel overlay. I got the control panel overlay from Phoenix Arcade along with the screen bezel and the marquee, and the side art my girlfriend is printing for me. The only marquee that they offer for Qbert is the swearing one, and it came in the kit, which is fine. I originally wanted it to say Qbert, but you know what? Underneath the bottom of the control panel it says Qbert. That lower part of the control panel, that black part, and it says Qbert in orange. So I'm fine with that. I believe that's how they originally intended for the game. I think that's how it originally came out, was with that swearing marquee, and nobody knew what it meant or what the name of the game was for some reason. So I don't know if originally it said Qbert below the control panel or not. I would imagine it did, but I'm not positive. I'm not that up on my Qbert. Underneath we'll probably just get one coat. I'll have to clean out the hole for the carriage bolt afterwards. Just drill it out and use a file or my knife or something to clean the Bondo out. We'll probably have to put 2 coats on the outside here. Oh boy, tripping over here. Yeah, it looks like I mixed up a little bit too much. Maybe I'll just put it on thicker. We can do it all in one coat. I doubt it, but maybe. And it's not like the paint needs to be perfect on this, because it is obviously getting covered with an overlay. We just need it to be smooth and not all dented up, so that doesn't show through. Okay, I'll let this dry and we'll sand it down, and we might be all right with this one coat. All right, let's get this sanded down. not good. That's all right. This thing sometimes grabs it. It's kind of hard to hold. It's a little bit high right there. Grab my other sander now. We'll probably have to tap that down right there. I'll have to do a little hand sanding in there around those bolts. But now I'm going to get this wiped down and we're going to put one more coat on. I did tap this down a little bit with a hammer. I might have to do it a hair more. But I'm going to get some more mixed up. I'm going to put another coat on and then we'll come back and sand down the next coat. I'm going to drill out this hole real quick for the carriage bolt before it gets hidden with the next coat and I can't see it. We can finish straightening it out afterwards. I just want to have that hole in there. So I'm gonna go get another coat mixed up, put on, and then we will finish sanding it, and then we should be ready to paint. Okay, I'm gonna get this sanded down, and that should be it. I'm gonna get this all sanded down, then I'll come back. Okay, top is all sanded down. Now I'm just taking my knife and cleaning up these edges here. And I still need to sand it with a smoother grit. This was 80 grit. I want to hit it with probably a 180 and a 320 just to kind of smooth it all out here. Make sure you get in these notches for the buttons. Okay, now I'm going to do some sanding, hand sanding on the back side here, and then I'm going to 320 it all down, 180 and 320 it, and then I'll come back and we should be ready for paint. Okay, it's ready to paint. I'm going to use this Krylon Fusion all-in-one paint and primer, matte black. Going to put on a light coat so it can soak in, and then I'll put a couple more coats over top. Okay, I'll let that dry for about 10 minutes and I'll put another coat on. All right, I'm getting our coat on here. Gonna put it on nice and heavy, and this should be it. Okay. All right, that's going to do it for part number 6 of Qbert. This control panel kind of kicked my butt a little bit. It definitely was not an easy fix, but we got it pretty good here. It's going to obviously dry duller than what it looks like right now. Next step is going to be to start putting the cabinet together. So if you guys are liking what you see, please like and subscribe. Any questions, feel free to ask, and I will see you guys tomorrow.